what's your definition of success, and has that changed over the years?
It's definitely changed over the years. When I was younger, I thought success was about having money.
Yeah.
And having like a big house and a fancy car, and that's what I thought successful was. And being the CEO of a company, that would have been, yes, that's what success is. And as I've got older, actually, success for me is just basic needs.
Yeah.
Like the basics. Home, loving family, good relationships, good friends, food on the table. And I think for the most part, most people were kind of like that. But like, I read a book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Absolutely love that book. It's something I go back to every time I'm kind of like wobbling off and thinking, having a little wobble. And one of the things they talk about in that book is about being mediocre and that being perfectly okay. I think we forget that that's all right. Like, I consider myself to be mediocre. I don't have an issue with that. I don't think I'm there. You don't think I'm down there. I mean, you probably don't think I'm mediocre.
You're not mediocre.
But in my view, my lens is there's nothing particularly special about me. I'm not particularly intelligent or clever. Like, I can't remember details to things. Fuck, I can't even remember what I did last week. So, I'll see people in the street, they'll have a full-on chat with me, and I'm like, no clue.
No idea.
Not a clue who you are. But I'll go along with it. Like, I not like it. Like, yeah, great. Ooh, no idea. But success for me is what I have right now. I have choices, and that's success in itself. When we look at the level of deprivation in this country, it's vile. These are people without choices or less choices, but also they don't see themselves as successful. So when we work alongside people, we'll look at little things that can help build on that idea of what success looks like.
Right.
Because success to us might be, I get a 15-minute gig and it's paid.
Yeah.
Like, that's success for us. But success to someone that I work with is, I got up today and got dressed and brushed my teeth and went outside.
Yeah. And that's success for them.
I think it's on measure, isn't it? It's got to be different for different people. And, some people really struggle with those basic things like getting up and getting dressed. And that's why I kind of like, it's a hard question, isn't it?
Well, I think, but when you said you were younger and you think of the material things that you measure as success, but really when you look at that at its core, it is about safety and your basic needs being met, isn't it? And when you're younger and you think the way of having that met is to be rich or to have material things, so it still comes back to that core of feeling safe and secure. And then, I mean, for me, it's a lot of it's to do with freedom as well, which I guess is the same as having choices to choose what you want to do and how you do things. And yeah, the material things. I mean, my dream was always to have a Lamborghini or whatever, because that's the circles I was moving in when being in the legal world, especially being a northerner and going down to London and mixed in with the legal circle down there. It was all about money. And I remember my first day at bar course, and they said, "Why do you want to be a barrister?" And I said, because I want to assert rights for people who can't do it for themselves. And he literally laughed and said, "What? What do you mean? What do you mean? You mean, no, you're just doing it because you want to make money. That's the only reason to be a lawyer." And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not sure. We're on the right path here. So it does, and it is amazing how it moves over time. And I think perhaps when you have your own children as well, and especially like when you've got children with additional needs, that it is a completely different measure of success to them as well. And that's what I was saying before. It's not about going to university, getting a degree. It's like, can you get up? And I've had this conversation with my daughter, Heidi, that I said, I don't want you to have to wait till you're 45 to follow your dreams like I have. I want you to wake up and go, right, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do my art, I'm going to do design my fashion, and do it now, don't wait. And that's why we're trying to encourage her to get to that point so that she's happy. But that's not a message you get in the media. It's still, as you've just said, about feeling mediocre. Everything's all about improve yourself. Well, self-improvement. That's a whole iron in Waterstones. And
what does that look like?
Well,
what does because self-improvement to us looks like, how can I better myself as a human being? How can I like just looking around here with all the different books you've got, and the book in the toilet about it's okay to be weird. We're all weird. Yeah. And you're like, that's a book I would probably pick up. But like, who defines like what that is meant to be?
Yeah.
It's not fair to say when somebody should be doing things that are going to fulfill a dream. Like, I think it's wrong that we've had to wait to middle-age them to follow dreams and aspirations that we had when we were younger, based on the fact that, I think for me, I didn't have choices, so therefore I didn't get to dream. And now I'm like middle-aged. Okay, I can dream now.
Yeah.
I can dream of things that I want to be doing, and that's okay, and that's supported. But like, why should anybody have to wait? It's unfair. And it doesn't even need to be about resources. I think it just needs to be about finding your right people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Find some people that inspire you, who aren't going to be judgmental. Well, maybe they are going to be judgmental, because we're all judgmental. It's one of those annoying questions on job interviews, isn't it? Tell me about all the different ways you're not judgmental. I always deliberately go the opposite and say, well, actually, it's a really stupid question.
Yeah.
Probably why I've lost out on jobs in the past.
Well, I think everybody is, aren't they? Whether you try to see it or not, it's just inevitable, isn't it? Because I always, they say that someone's made a decision on whether they like you or not within like 7 seconds of meeting you, first impressions. But I think that's an energetic thing, getting to the woo-woo side of things, and why you're drawn to some people and repelled by others. But yeah, that first impression, gut instinct, is generally right, I think.
Well, success to some people is like what their face looks like the explosion, literally the explosion of women particularly, who are injecting their faces left, right and centre.
It's crazy. I was and they were like, they were 23 and having Botox, and it's like, I mean, everybody's free to do what they want. There's talk about being non-judgmental, but I'm like, but you're 23, you've got lovely skin. You don't need to be injecting yourself with some sort of poison.
You've got no wrinkles, love. Leave your face alone.
And I think that's the problem with social media, and that's the worry for our next generation, and certainly my teenagers, is what they're being exposed to all the time.
Yeah.
And like, that's why I set up Building Bliss as sort of an antithesis to the usual wellness content of people floating around in white in their LA houses. And, this is...
I don't see a sound bath here, but is there one?
There have been in some... I've got a miniature sound bowl over there. So, as I say, my mission is well-being without the wankiness. So...
which is good for me.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to achieve.